always love the countdown music. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Misfit Corner Scams. This is the Arts News. Andrew speaking. It is Saturday night, and we are live streaming. And I am joined by a fellow scam baiter, Roger from Screwing with Scammers. How you doing this evening, sir?
We are doing really well here at Screwing with Scammers house.
Excellent, excellent. What's the weather like up there? Where are you at? I keep forgetting. I know you've mentioned it before.
Las Vegas.
That's right. You're the other direction.
The other West Coast. We're at 59 degrees right now and clear.
Okay. I think on the way home it was 49 where I'm at.
Okay.
So it's been chilly all day today, and right. I always assume when the weather sucks, nobody's coming out to the flea market. Nobody's coming out to the store. Today I was busy from start to finish and loved it. Yes, I made a whole bunch of sales and big smile on my face. So
that's cool.
I have a certain amount of money that needs to be made every weekend in order to cover my rent.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest concern, is making sure rent is covered. Right. And no, we're not going to have any problems this month. This month's been great.
Well, that's good.
So
that's really good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to take this opportunity. I'm trying to bring up the comments. View comments. Okay, there we go. Now I can see the comments. For some reason, I went to the comment screen and it was completely blank. And I'm like, I know people have been talking, but I wanted to take this opportunity to talk to somebody who is in the same almost the exact same boat as me when it comes to creating content for YouTube. We're both screwing with people when they call us, but we're not making outbound calls. We're just taking calls. Do you call anybody, or?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Today I got a weird email from Primee, Primee account is going to be expired, and I have to reset my passwords and everything else. And it said Prime originally, but then in the line it said Primee. So I called the number and it connected to it was the cable company, Comcast.
Right.
And of course, and it was just a bust. But if they would have gone through, I would have recorded the call.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, hold on a second. Avery's here. Let me bring him in real quick. Hey,
what's up?
How's it going, man?
It's all right.
Avery, this is Roger. Oh, wait, no, I did it the wrong way. This is Roger. Roger,
hey.
This is Avery.
Avery.
Now, he's familiar with you. He's been in the chat numerous times. So, Screwing with Scammers, he's well aware of what's going on here. But he joined last week when we did our invite everybody in and let's chat.
Oh, cool.
So he and Glenn came in with a bunch of other people, and I invited him to come back. And I wanted to use what I was saying is that I wanted to use this opportunity to talk to somebody who does a very similar thing in regards to YouTube content creation. Somebody who answers calls from scammers and messes with them, screws with them, and has fun doing it. And I was thinking about this conversation earlier this week, and I was like, what am I gonna talk about? What am I gonna say? And I realized that a lot of our audience, and Roger, you might agree with me on this, a lot of our audience can relate to us better because we're doing the exact same things that they themselves can do. Mm-hmm. Now, whenever somebody comes in my store and I tell them I have this channel, they're always like, "Oh, I've heard of people who, take over the cameras, the CTV cameras in India, and they hack into their computers and they take over and I'm like, we don't do none of that. That's not us. We just take calls, mess with people, record it, and share it. But it's something that our audience themselves can do as well. Now I cannot do, and I mentioned this the other day to my guys. I said, I can't really do voices. Any voices I attempt to do just makes me sound like a gay guy. That's it. That's the only voice I can do. But Roger is really good at, he's got a whole different series of voices that he does when he gets people on the phone. Even Glenn doing Betty is freaking fantastic. But but what we do is something that anybody in our audience can do as well. When you get these calls, once you identify and you know for a fact they're scammers, mess with them, screw with them, waste their time, have fun with it. I had a guy today, and it's one of the calls I recorded, in which I'm talking to the guy, and he's, even after I've told him, I know you're a scammer, I know what you're doing, he's still reading the script. And I told him, I said, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to start yelling and screaming and cursing at you. Are you okay with that? And he's still trying to read the script. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to tell you, I'm getting ready to yell and scream and curse at you. Do you like that? Do you enjoy it? And he was just so brain dead.
Wow.
That I was like, I never even got to the point where I started yelling and cursing. I didn't even do it, but I kept saying to him, do you like this? Do you like your job? Do you like calling people and just infuriating them? And he was so oblivious. It was wonderful.
And that's one of my characters.
Yeah.
Oblivious.
Oblivious? Oblivious. Yes, I should have.
And usually when I'm talking to them, I go, Owen. My first name is Owen. Last name is Oblivious. Yep. I just go by my friends call me Oblivious, kind of like you. And
kind of like you.
They keep going on.
Oh, yeah.
They keep going on with it. And what I tell anybody who's watching, I said, listen, if you don't feel comfortable fooling with them, best thing to do, hang up on them. Or if you don't recognize the number, don't answer. Stay safe. That's the most important thing.
But here's the craziest thing, and I've said it before. What's the worst they're going to do to you? Call you back?
Exactly.
They're going to do it anyway.
Right.
They're going to keep calling. They're never going to stop. And I've kind of been told that the only way to stop getting scam calls is by not answering your phone.
Ooh.
Because scam call centers will sell numbers that they know people will answer, and that way it keeps going and going and going. Right. And the only way to stop it is to not answer your phone. Do not have a live phone. And my cell phone gets the calls, and if I don't answer in X number of it transfers to a voicemail, and I don't. That's not going to stop them. They're going to keep calling that.
Right.
It would probably take months and months of not answering your phone, in order to get them to stop, realistically. Well, and it's never going to stop because there's a lot of dialers that just call one number after another.
Right.
Like my wife and my cell phones are one digit apart. Hers ends in 4, mine's ends in 5.
Right.
I'll hear her phone ring, and then I'll hear my phone ring. That's not somebody standing there dialing the number. It's an auto dialer just changing one number and dialing over and over again. You're never going to stop that.
On both my landline and my cell phone, I have the voicemail set up so it answers, hello. Thank you for calling. And a lot of times they'll leave the message will end, their stupid AI will end, and the scammer comes on the line, and you could hear the call center in the background because there was that great pause in between hello and before I said something else that the AI thought I was a real person.
I had a friend one time that was convinced that the systems that are, whatever dialing systems that are calling you are waiting to hear the words hello. So he would answer his phone in different ways every time, thinking that he was actually fooling the systems. And what I explained to him is it has nothing to do with what you say. The system is listening for the rings, listening for the beeps. So if it goes ring, 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 and then there's no ring, it knows somebody picked up the phone, and then it transfers to a live person, or it transfers to the automated pickup. That's why there's always the pause when you answer the phone before somebody comes on the line, whether it's the AI voice or the robocall or the person. There's always a pause because the dialer is listening for the pause before it transfers. I used to work in a call center, a collections call center, in which the dialers would dial and the call would come to us once somebody picked up the phone.
Right.
And so there was always that delay. It's just super common, and it happens all the time. So, But anyway, the bottom line that I was getting at is that I think our audience enjoys what we do because it's something they can also do. You know, they're not listening to somebody, they're not following somebody who has a lot of super high-tech equipment
Right.
that has a lot of experience with role playing or acting or something. This is literally something anybody can do. And everybody gets these calls. There's never been a single person that I've talked to face to face where I tell them what I do, where they go, a scam call? What is that? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody gets them. Everybody understands when you say a foreign call center calling me about something that has nothing to do with me, or, you know, and they're all like, yep. And age doesn't matter. Financial status doesn't matter. Where you live doesn't matter. Everybody gets these calls.
And the consensus of opinion is they hate those calls.
I asked what a scammer one time. I said, do you realize how much people hate you for what you do? I've asked them, I said, have you ever thought about getting a better job or another job or something legitimate? Because everybody hates your guts. Oh, well, that's the life we live, you know, and I enjoyed. Now, Saturday is usually a very slow day for me. What's it like for you guys?
It was real slow today. Like I said, I got a call earlier, and as soon as they came on the line after the AI, they go, "Oh, your number's on the do not call list." Well, great. Then stop calling me.
I've been getting that a lot with the final expense scammers. The first person will get some information and then transfer to their supervisor. And then the first thing the supervisor says is, "Oh, you're on the national do not call list. We can't help you." It's like, that's like, I released a call today, which was actually from the middle of December, in which the guy was rather honest with me. He told me his name, which I don't know if he's being honest or not, but he told me he was in Pakistan. And it was one of the marketplace scammers. And he was telling me how, you know, I work for a company and we make lots of calls, and there's thousands of these call centers out there. And he's like trying to tell me about how he's the only legitimate scammer out there, the legitimate guy out there. And I was trying as hard as I could to be patient and pick apart everything he was saying. And I had a good time doing it. But it's like, dude, find a better job. There's got to be something else better in the world. But
there was
maybe there isn't.
I put up one a couple of weeks back, and it was kind of the same thing. Oh, well, I'm a scammer. I'm so sorry. I need something better. And I didn't fall for one bit of his BS, because at the end of the call, he went right back into his scammer mode.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I knew you were just BSing me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sometimes when they get caught and they know, they will either take offense, right? And yell and, you know, and curse at you or whatever. Right. Other times they'll just throw their hands up in the air and give up and hang up the phone. And then sometimes they're like, screw it, I've been caught. Might as well just chit chat with you. You know, and I love those. I love the ones that are willing to actually talk to you. They're still scum of the earth, but they remind you, regrettably, that some of them are still human. Right. You know, they still have human pieces of them, but, you know, not very much. You are getting overwhelmed, my friend.
Yes.
With
that was Toffee. She's glued to me. She is my soulmate companion puppy.
All right, I'm counting 4 right now. Is that how many you have there?
No, there's one more. There's 5 altogether.
Okay.
He's got one over there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
5. There she is. That's the baby.
Excellent. Yeah, I have to shut my door when I'm doing this. Actually, let me highlight me for a second, and I'll show you.
There he is.
Can you see her? She's sitting right there. That's Stranger. She's kind of locked in here, but since she's not complaining and begging to get out, she can stay. So
she's got Dumas over there too. That 16.5-pound cat. I'm waiting for her to
Oh, that's right. I've seen them before.
Oh, she can't. Don't hurt your back. There he is.
Oh my goodness.
Don't growl at him.
Big boy.
Yeah, he's a nutball.
Oh, they definitely keep us entertained, don't they?
Yes, they do. Next to the scam calls.
Avery, you need to go out and get some pets.
No, thank you.
Okay. I knew that was gonna be his response. I mean, technically, he is his own pet,
yes.
Right? Because he's got to feed him, he's got to take him out for walks, and clean up after him, and I think that's pretty much it, right? That's all you can handle is just you.
Yeah,
barely.
Yes, there you go.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break and see who all's here and say hello to everybody.
Yep.
And since I've ignored the chat completely, we'll get that started. Dave's in the house. Dave says hello to Drew. Glass Bottle is here. Says hello, each and every one. Welcome, my friend. Manuel, of course, is in the house. Says good evening, everyone. Manuel says hello to David. Jim Sears says, hey, all. Happy Saturday evening. Thank you. I'm going to skip around a little bit and see who else is in here. Sarah's in the house. Sarah, my good friend, says hello and happy Saturday. Welcome. And she reminds everybody, smash the like button or press it gently if you like. I mean, you can smash it if you want. I just don't want anybody to break their fingers when they're doing it. So, all right, let's see who else is here. Glass Bottle, we got that. Jim. Tim's in the house. Says good evening all from snowy covered Western Kentucky. That is one thing I am so happy I don't have to deal with. He says, but it's warming up to 30 degrees Fahrenheit today. Oh, wow. Actually, well, yeah, I guess it could be snowing in 30 degrees because that's still below freezing. So yeah, snow can survive that. The last time I saw snow, it was February. I was visiting Todd in New York for a New York Comic-Con. They later changed the convention to October, but there were a few years where they did it in February. And when we got there, it was nothing but slush all over the ground. And Todd's like, yep, that's all we got. And that was the last time I saw it. It was slush, and that was it. So I have not seen snow in person in many, 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 many moons. Do you get snow in Las Vegas, or is it always good?
It's been about, since the last really decent snow was, I want to say, 2008.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. And Avery, it doesn't snow in your area, Georgia, does it? You're still close.
No.
Yeah.
If it does, every once in a while, like it melts as soon as it hits the ground.
There was a year in which there was snowing in Georgia, and my sister-in-law and my wife took the kids and they drove up to try to see it, and they never found it. But it had to be like Atlanta or that area of Georgia. It wasn't the borderline.
Even there, it doesn't collect.
Yeah. Whenever it's cold and it's rainy here, we call that Florida snow, where it's just cold, wet rain. Yeah, that's the most we'll probably get.
Yeah, it's miserable too.
Yeah,
is that when it gets cold enough the iguanas fall out of the trees?
Hurricane.
Yeah,
I don't see iguanas very often. We see lizards, but not iguanas.
Right.
That's South Florida.
Yeah, it's South Florida, Miami, Tampa area.
But not today.
Darlene says hello to everyone. Welcome, Darlene. Junior's here, says hello, everyone. Welcome. Let's see what else we got going on. Clifford is in the house. Clifford says, hey, Drew. Hey, SWS, screwing with scammers. Yep. Sky, I know what that means. I'm bad. I'm really super bad. Ask Avery. I'm horrible when it comes to abbreviations. And my kids know I don't use them. Like, be right back, BRB. I don't use, or by the way, BTW. I don't use that. I spell out by the way and be right back, because I'm so horrible with abbreviations. So good to know Clifford is on the ball. Very good. All right, let's see who else is here. We're going to jump around a little bit more. Bertha's in the house. Says hello, everybody. Hello, beautiful people in the chat. Oh, she said beautiful people. I thought she was talking about us. Hey, I trimmed up a little bit. If anybody didn't notice, just slightly. Oh, Avery took offense to the beautiful people comment and laughed. He'll be back. I'm betting he's probably having issues with the internet. So, Aaron's in the house. It's nice to see both of you. Thank you very much. Glad you're here. Catherine's in the house. As Jim. Mason in the flesh?
Gymnasium. That's one of my characters.
Gymnasium. Okay.
Mayseum.
Avery, are we looking at your ceiling? All right, the Lady P's here. Says hey to everybody. Welcome. Clifford says the Floridian thinks 49 degrees Fahrenheit is chilly. Laugh out loud. It was 5 here last winter with all the wind chill one day, and I live in the warmest part of Canada. Oh, goodness gracious. You Canadians can keep your weather. Keep it.
Yeah.
Keep
no
it.
thanks.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. Lori's here. Hey, Lori, how's it going? Lori says hi. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Right now I'm just jumping through, seeing who all's here, just saying hi to everybody. If I miss you, I am sorry, but I'm trying very hard not to miss anybody. Everybody saying hi back and forth. Oh, 2008 AMP1 is here, says hello all. Welcome. Let's see, how long ago was that? That was 8:04. How long ago was that? That was 18 minutes ago.
It's going fast.
Yeah, I know. I gotta catch up. B Bernie B is in the house. Says hello, Drew and chat. Welcome once again. Who was it that mentioned their son was on Pop Culture Jeopardy, episode 12 of season 1 on Amazon Prime? I think it was. Might have been BB. Might have been Sarah. I don't remember. Right. Or it might have been Darlene. I can't remember. But the wife and I watched the episode. And it was actually kind of funny. It was entertaining. I'm not a big game show person, but a pop culture game show, hey, I can get into that. I was actually answering some of the questions correctly, mind you. There were a whole bunch in there that had to do with music, and I was like, knew nothing about music.
Really?
So yeah. All right, let's see who else is here. Let's see. Okay. Julie's here. Hey, Julie, how's it going? Says hello, gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Thank you.
Hi, Julie. I love your mug.
I got a great looking mug there. Excellent picture. All right, let's see. Let's see who else joined. Boomer's in the house. Says howdy. Boomer in the house. Hi, Drew and Roger. Welcome. Let's see who else is here. BB's here. Already saw her. She says, so I guess it's the SWS Drew and Avery show tonight. That's right. Well, I invited Glenn too, but he's doing a performance right now. So I wanted to talk to people who created content similar to what we're doing. And you know what's so funny? This is very, very sad. Very early on, when my channel became the Scam Bait channel, the Misfit Corner Scams, Betty Bam Bam and Tagao invited me on a live stream, and we just chit-chatted about, what we do in the process of doing it. And one of the ideas that I came away with is every now and then I should, talk to people that do similar things, scam baiting and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I believe, the 133rd live stream. And you know how many times I've actually talked to somebody about what it is we do?
2.
This would be the first. I think. I'm pretty sure this would be the first. But it's one of those things. And Avery will confirm what I'm about ready to say. Sometimes I come up with these wonderful, great ideas, and nothing happens.
True.
Nothing goes forward because I get distracted and go another direction, or come up with another new idea and go in another direction. And Ah, well, one of these days.
Like Ralph Cramden on The Honeymooners. All those ideas.
The only thing I remember out the Honeymooners is "To the moon, Alice, to the moon."
I've used Ralph Cramden as a character once.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay. Very good. All right, let's see who else is here. BB says, laugh out loud. Charles is in the house. Hey, Charles says, hi, Drew and Screwing with Scammers. Both your videos are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. We try hard. Let's see who else. See if there's anybody else that's come in that I haven't said hi to yet. Oh, Pam's here. Hey, Pam, how's it going? Says the doggies are adorable.
Yes, they are.
They are. And she says, puppy love. Absolutely. Let's see who else we might have missed. This is going to get boring very quickly. So, the Costanza's in the house. Says it's the Three Stooges who slapstick scammers. That's a great idea. Yes. You know what? That needs to lead to possibly some animation.
Well, certainly.
Me, Roger, and Glenn kind of slapping scammers around. Or Roger, me, and Betty, of course. Yeah, there you go. Christina's here, says Clifford, by the time they have sunk into the dregs of scammers, they are not human anymore. It takes somebody with a very dark soul to do what scammers do. I really do think that. And the reason I say that is, can you imagine walking up behind some elderly lady and then pushing them over or knocking them out of the way? That's what scammers do every day.
It's the same thing.
They take advantage and they abuse elderly people.
Yep.
In my mind, I can't even comprehend somebody who can do that and be able to live with themselves and walk away and thinking what I just did was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard not to say anything that would get me in trouble, but I'm being honest here. Their target audience are the elderly.
Yep.
And they love the ones who don't have the mental capacity to realize what's happening to them and to take advantage of them, convince them of a lie, and to absorb and take from them whatever they can, whether it's their personal information, whether it's their money, their checking account information, their credit cards, or just their name, address, phone number, date of birth, Medicare number. Sometimes it's just simple information, but they're doing it to rob people. And it's
in just the U.S. alone, it's pushing billions of dollars that they've been scammed out of. And I cannot imagine what the figure is worldwide.
That is true. Because I've had some people in the chat who either live in the UK or
Australia
or European countries, and they get the calls too. Yeah. I wonder if scammers call people in India and Pakistan.
I don't know what you're going to do. We're going to call you up there. What are you doing?
Yeah.
How many rupees can you give me?
I could see the call.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm calling about your cable service. Bob, is this you? Hey, it's my next door neighbor. My grandson. There you go. That's good.
It's more likely to be like, what is cable?
Yeah. There you go.
A gift card. Where do you get gift cards from?
Yeah.
I get mine from Billy Bob Liquor and Fireworks Store every year.
That would be a hilarious cartoon where an Indian scammer, a Pakistani scammer calls somebody in India or Pakistan, and they recognize each other.
Did you ever see any of Ownage Pranks videos he did?
No, I don't think so.
He's on YouTube. Ownage Pranks.
Oh, okay.
He does voices and stuff, and he did animate a lot of them, and it was hilarious.
Okay.
And he did some great stuff. And he would just do prank calls. He'd call up a 7-Eleven and just get the manager so angry. But the videos were kind of funny, and he did scam baiting too.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't think I could do prank calls to people. I think I get enough scam calls that screwing with them and messing with them is just perfectly fine. But I don't think I could, like call like a business up and harass them and be a pain. And
we did the thing. Is your refrigerator running? Well, you better go catch it, and stuff like that. The bowling alley, would you have the 10-pound balls? Yeah, well,
Yeah, but if you think about it, there was a time where when you could call somebody and they didn't know who was calling.
Right.
That's not always the case anymore.
Well, wait a minute. We get calls now. We don't know who it is.
That's true. That's very true.
The numbers are junk.
Yeah, I think Glenn sent me some recordings in which he got 3 calls in like a 10-minute time frame, and he called the numbers back afterwards just to see what would happen. And 2 out of the 3 were this number is no longer in service. Right. But the third one was this nice little old lady who had no idea what he was calling about. I'm like,
right. They spoofed their number.
Yeah.
Well, before we get too far away from everything going on, sure. I just want to shout out thoughts and prayers go out to all the family out in California who are just victims of this horrible fire situation there. And I hope you all are safe and free from fires. Praying for you guys.
And I'll be honest with you, I've never been to California.
Oh,
I don't know if I'd want to go. I mean, I've been to New York many times. I honestly have no interest in going back because that place, specifically the city,
right,
has gotten crazy. And California, I don't know, just some of the stories I've heard, and I know it's a big place and there's a lot of things going on, but the stories I hear scare me. It's like I don't want to go to Europe either. I don't want to go to some of these other countries. I have no interest whatsoever. But for people in California, if you can get out, I mean, not just get away from fires, but if you can move Texas, Louisiana, any place else.
Well, I moved out many years ago from there, but I'll tell you, riding a motorcycle, I've been riding for years. It was the most beautiful rides up the coast, through the mountains. You had everything at your fingertips.
Right.
And
right.
It's just not, I mean, that's years ago, and it's just not like it was.
Yeah.
It's still a beautiful state. I mean, the visual just for you to go and drive up the coast. It's not like the coast of Florida. I've been there. I've been through Cocoa Beach, and it's nice. But it's not that going through the redwood forest at the ocean is just amazing.
My wife and my son have done that before. My son went out to California to visit my in-laws, and they have a lot of fond memories of how beautiful the place was.
Big Sur.
Yeah, I'm not a sightseeing kind of guy. I mean, I've actually sat down, had the conversation with my wife, and she's scared of what I've told her. But I've told her I'm looking forward to having grandchildren so that we can go to amusement parks and go on Disney cruises. And she's like, oh my gosh, that sounds absolutely horrible. And I'm like looking forward to it one day. I'm not a go to the mountains and look at the streams. And that's not what I like to do.
2025 is the 70th anniversary for Disneyland. So it'll be perfect time to plan a trip.
Now, where is Disneyland compared to where the fires are right now in California? I know it's Southern California.
It's part of it. It's close to it, some of the areas, but it's a little further north. The fires are just a little north of Santa Ana and Anaheim.
Okay.
So far, so good there. But
I know there's been a lot of Hollywood cancellations. They've they pushed off the Oscars. The
Rams game Monday night.
Yes. They're moving games. So I mean, it's got an effect on the world. Or the country in general,
but it's sad.
I agree with you 100%. Thoughts to everybody who's out there, please, if you can, get the hell out of the way and move to Florida or Texas. We'll welcome you.
We'll welcome you. Prayers to stay safe. That's the most important. Hope you're all safe.
You were saying before about having everything close by, and Avery and I had some friends that lived in Pennsylvania. And one of the things that they would do as a group during the summer, they would go to New Jersey and they would stay, like take a week's vacation, stay at a hotel and visit the beach. And one of my friends, one of his favorite things to do was to go to a Golden Corral because they didn't have Golden Corral and have steak on the buffet. And that was a highlight of their trip. They would take a week off, go to New Jersey to go to the beach. And I'm thinking to myself, I literally have a beach like right 3 miles away and I never go there. And we have Golden Corrals like all over the place. I mean, everything they're talking about is stuff that I take for granted, you know, but it's where they live and what they're used to. And I really do think a lot of people, me included, don't take advantage and don't appreciate what they have.
Yeah.
You know, a life wasted. It's what it's going to end up being. just all I'm going to end up doing is sitting around reading comic books all the time. Heaven forbid. Freaking horrible.
Well, I'll send you some of my Mad magazines so you can change it up a bit.
I had Avery. I got to show you this. Yeah. A guy brought in today. He had a collection. It was a very small collection of magazines called Monsters and Heroes. And I'd never seen this thing before. And he brought them in. There were 7 issues, and I did some research, found out that there were only 7 issues of this magazine. But they had some really pretty covers. But here's the thing. I got to look into exactly when they came out because they were cover priced 35 cents.
Wow.
Which makes, and for magazines, and they were like, when I flipped through one of them and it was like monster movies, hero, it was stuff like that. And I'm like, I have never heard of this title before. So I ended up making a deal with the guy, and I gave him some credit, and he ended up picking up a slabbed book. But he said he had some Conan books, some magazines he was going to bring back later. And I said, but I'm looking at these magazines, and next stream I'm on with you, I will bring them and show them to the guys because they're rather fascinating. I did do a little bit of research when the guy brought them to me, and there was somebody on eBay that had all 7 issues, and they were asking like $80 for them. So, I mean, it's not a ridiculous amount of money, and it's not something where they're extremely valuable, but I'm like, dude, I want these just because they look cool. So I will share them with you on our next live stream together, but I know you guys don't care about that stuff. Yeah, well, they looked interesting, so
they do look cool.
Yeah. So and you never know what's going to come in the store. It's one of my favorite parts about working my stores. You never know what's going to come in. You never know what somebody's going to bring in. So, all right, now we're done talking about nerd stuff.
That's cool.
So,
well, issue number 1 looks pretty cool.
Oh, you're seeing it now?
Yeah,
it's called like Jim or Tim or something. Ivy something.
This Monsters and Heroes has got a pterodactyl on the cover.
That sounds about right. Yep. I don't recognize who the artist was, but it was enough that I'm like, I want these. Yeah, I know nothing about it, but I want it.
That cover price has got to put them in the 60s.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, me neither. So,
well, I've heard of Playboy.
I've heard of that. Yep.
I don't know what it is now today, but it's different.
Tell them how many you have.
All right. Well, I actually just brought up the.
Yeah, that's the one.
Let me see if I can show you what this thing looks like.
Off my neck. She just kicked me.
So, they're very pretty looking magazines.
The artwork is incredible.
Yeah, but these are what I got. The copies I have are not in the greatest condition, but sometimes just having a pretty cover is worth it. You know. Does this look familiar at all to you, Avery? Have you ever seen anything like these?
No, but it's collected in the hardback, and it says it came out in 1967.
Oh, really? That sounds about right.
You can get the complete magazine run in hardback.
Okay.
It's kind of like Playboy. The covers are great to look at.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I had gotten an older gentleman who came into my store years ago, and he was cleaning out his garage, and he had some old Playboy magazines, and he asked me if I was interested. Now, I have had some of my own collection of magazines from when I was younger, and I said, well, sure, I might be interested. And how much? And I gave him a price what I was willing to pay, and he was like, okay, that works. So every now and then he'd come in, every few weeks he'd come in with a bag, and just like 5, 10, 15 of it at a time, and I bought them and put them in the box and put them in the back room, and never ever brought them out to display them. Because my store is kind of more kid friendly.
Yeah.
And when he came in with the last batch, he's like, all right, this is it, the wife is happy, I finally got rid of all these. And I'm like, what the hell do I do with all these magazines that I have? And then I found out that the company that grades comics also, of course, grades magazines. And I thought, if I got some of these, the better cover looking ones, graded, and they're, of course, a graded comic or a graded magazine is sealed in a hard shell plastic case.
Yep.
It becomes more of a display item, an art piece, where you're not going to flip through it. You're not going to open it up and see the naked ladies in it. And a graded copy of a magazine like that, I'd have no problem selling in my store, because I'm not selling the magazine, I'm selling
the art.
a collectible piece of art, right? I just haven't gotten around to sending any of them in, but
yeah, apparently Ivy himself did the covers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and a lot of the interior he wrote and illustrated himself.
Okay.
Although I can't find where Al Williams did some in one of them.
Okay. Well, like I said, I got them. I got all 7 of them, and I'm looking forward to flipping through them and seeing what all's in them. So
there's some other artists in there. You'll recognize some of the names.
Okay, cool. Well, I only ever flipped through the first issue just to get an idea of what was in it. And the guy was like, he had them and didn't know what to do with them, and I'm like, shoot, man, let me take a look at them. So
it's a lot of stuff based on like Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff, John Carter, the Flash Gordon type stuff.
Well, see, back in that day, those weren't public. I don't think those were public domain. So, like some of that stuff is now,
Yeah.
All right. I was just checking real quick to see who else joined. Let's see. Bill's here. Bill says, I be here. Welcome, Bill. Welcome to the show. And that was
there's your cat.
30 minutes ago. So, of course, I'm running really far behind. Guys, I'm so sorry for not following the chat, but we've been having too good of a time. Tattles in the house says, my cable scammer called. After a minute of other questions, he asked me who my cable company was. I said, your company, and he instantly hung up. I have not gotten a call from the Spectrum scammers in a long, long time. I got one Friday, and I had so much fun with him. Now, granted, it was a short call. It only lasted 37 seconds. So I made it into a short, and I believe I've been getting so many shorts that I'm really far ahead. I think it's the Spectrum scammer short is coming out either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. But I asked the guy, I said, exactly which of my cable companies are you calling from? And he said Spectrum or whatever the AT&T one is. And I said, oh, do I have Spectrum? I didn't realize that. He said, yes, you do. And I said, okay, well, what's my name? He says, sir, I'm calling about your discount. I said, no. Say my name. And then he had, yes. And then he did what they do, and
Killing me.
He revealed his true nature, as I say. And I'm like, mwah! Love it when they do that. Do you, Roger, do you have them curse at you often?
Oh, all the time. That's the best part.
That is it makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, doesn't it?
Something very oddly satisfying about angering them.
Yes.
Well, since I learned the Hindi curse words back, they just say it right back to them, and then they lose it.
See, I'm not that smart. I'm not that bright.
One of the things they really hate is when you call them your son. And
really?
In Hindi, the word is "you're my beta," and that's "you're my son," and they hate that for some reason. Beta, yeah, like the beta version of something. They're the beta, so you got to write that down. So you call them, "Oh, you're my beta," and then it's "I own you, my beta," and they lose it because you've wasted like 35 minutes of their time by that point.
Right.
And sometimes I get exhausted, and I say, you know what, I'm going to end this. And the other day, Mrs. had a call, and she was getting tired. I said, let's just end it. And I just called him out, and I cursed at him in Hindi or whatever. And that ended the call pretty much. But it was fun because they really got angry when I called him my son.
Now, I'm sure you've had this experience where you've gotten a call and you're either in the middle of something or you're doing something else and you don't have time. So you say something to them in order to get them to hang up and get off the phone. I usually do it when I'm driving. When I'm driving and I'm with my wife, I'll say something that I know will.
There she is. Cattails.
Yeah. Cat ass is what it is.
It looks like I'm watching CBS.
Yeah. So I'll say something in order to get them off the phone quickly and have them just dump the call. What I find fascinating is when it doesn't work and they stay on the line. And sometimes the call will get more and more and more disturbing from my side.
Right.
And yeah, I had one just the other day, and God love my wife, because I started saying stuff to this young lady that should have made her just hang up the phone. And instead, she was like, "Sir, you really shouldn't say stuff like that." And I'm like, "Oh, baby," and my wife's like rolling her eyes, but she's letting me do it. And I'm like shocked that this person is still on the line. And sometimes those make some of the greatest calls because it's almost like they don't get it. And it's wonderful.
A real fun one to do with the final expense. Well, one time I called, vinyl expense? Good, because I love old vinyl records. But they said, do you have any major disease or anything? I said, well, I died last week, but other than that, I'm good.
Oh, I like the suggestions of telling people you've been decapitated.
Yeah. I do that all the time. I do that all the time. And they go, okay, great. And they go on with the scam. I love it. Or the one I did, one of the ones I throw in a lot is like, oh, my wife, she died. She drank some Kool-Aid with Jonestown, and she's no longer with us. And you got to be old enough to know Jonestown.
Right. Yeah. They won't get the reference. They won't get the reference.
Yeah.
Now, is that where the whole phrase of drinking the Kool-Aid comes from?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Jim Jones and his Jonestown, where he convinced those people to drink it was arsenic laced Kool-Aid. Yep. And he killed so many people. It was brutal.
I remember there was either a movie or a TV movie
about
it that my mother was watching, and I was watching it with her. And I was young enough to where I didn't have a clue what was going on. And at the end, you see all the people just dead around, and I'm like, I'm like have no idea what's going on. And my mother was not in the mood to explain it to me. So I look back on a lot of movies where I didn't get what was going on. There were a lot of those from when I was a kid.
Did you figure out Friday the 13th when you saw it for the first time as a 5-year-old?
I don't remember when I saw that, but I remember watching it and still not understanding what was happening.
Exactly. Was he dead? Was he alive?
Same thing with Psycho. Same thing with Dirty Dancing. The whole thing about the girl going to see the doctor. I'm like, what? There was something similar to that in Robert Redford's The Natural.
The Natural.
There was something, and I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, I don't have a clue what's going on here. And my mom and dad are like, my mom actually dragged us to go see The Natural in the theater because at the time, this is her justification. At the time, I was in Little League playing baseball, and she said, "Oh, it's a baseball movie. Let's go see it." So much went so far over my head.
There's some things they didn't directly say or directly spell out in a lot of old movies.
Yep.
Like if you watch Breakfast at Tiffany's,
Yes.
they don't come out and say that Holly Golightly's a prostitute,
Right,
No.
right.
and the other guy's a gigolo. They don't directly say it.
No, they don't.
But that's what's going on.
Yeah, it's the innuendos, and they make it so you have to make the connection.
Right.
Yeah.
That was so different than the way it is now. It's like in your face.
Well, most adults seeing those movies probably get it, but kids like my age had no clue what was happening. You know, Officer and a Gentleman. I saw that movie with my mother, and if you remember the opening scene, the naked women, and I'm like, what the heck? This is not a kid movie, but I saw it with my mother.
Thanks, Mom.
My dad was in the military, and he was often out to sea. So my mother, in order to go see movies, had to drag my ass with her and my daughter. And so I saw a lot of movies that were completely inappropriate, but
I was like 13 when I got my parents take me to see the brand new movie that came out, The Godfather. So
my mother's favorite story. It was it Jaws? No, they saw Jaws in Italian because we were living in Italy at the time, and it freaked her out because she didn't know what was happening. But the other movie that they watched was The Exorcist, and they were in a friend's living room, and they were watching The Exorcist, and another friend was like, I can't believe you people are watching this movie. And they're like, what are you talking about? And the lady revealed that the house they were living in used to be a mortuary. And the couch was literally in the area where they would set up the caskets for viewing. And they're watching The Exorcist, and they're like, what are you? My parents had no idea.
Well, that's too funny.
Yeah.
That's a good story for a movie.
Yeah. The things we did. Do you remember any movies that your parents made you watch with them or watch and you had no clue really what was going on? Officer and a Gentleman, The Natural, those were two that I remember distinctively, not knowing, you know.
And you know what's funny? The Warner Brother cartoons were just laced with adult humor.
Oh God, yeah.
Growing up, and I go back and watch them now, and I go, man, how did you understand this as a kid? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you did when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was just colors and flashing lights, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
you know what,
Barney and Fred were smoking Winston cigarettes, so.
Yeah. Well, my dad watched a lot of John Wayne movies, like a lot.
John Wayne, that was the name I was trying to remember last night.
And I was an adult before I realized that there's one of those movies he made like 3 times. It's the same movie.
Right.
He just like there's one where it's damn near, and there's 2 of them there's one of them where it's super obvious because one's with Robert Mitchum and the other's with the Dean Martin. But it's the exact same movie. Exact.
The names were changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah.
Avery.
But he made that same story like 3 times.
Avery, do you like John Wayne?
I do like some John Wayne movies, yeah.
I have something I want to give you then that came into the store recently. It is a VHS copy of True Grit.
Oh, cool.
But it's an unopened, still sealed copy.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And it's got a really nice, it's a black and white cover with
that's one of my favorites.
With him like leaning over somebody else. I don't remember exactly who it is, but I'm putting it aside for you because I give you a copy of Evil Dead that was on VHS.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there another one that I gave you? Vampires or something?
Near Dark.
That
movie's hard to find.
Avery likes some of those old collectible stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll put that aside for you.
Like I spent months trying to get a copy of Sword and the Sorcerer.
Oh, that reminds me. I was talking to one of my video file people today and we were talking about how sometimes the only way you can see some of the classic original is on VHS. And I mentioned Star Wars. They told me that Disney released a special Blu-ray edition of the original Star Wars, which has the unedited copy on it. But supposedly it's like a super hard to find rare collectible item, but it does exist.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for it. And of course, there's a damn tail again.
Yep.
But remember how we had talked about the fact that the only way you can see the original unedited was on VHS? Apparently, there is a Blu-ray edition out there somewhere. Hey,
yeah.
I remember that one.
Yep. You got the wiener version of Little Mermaid?
No.
Hey, Roger, do you want to hear a funny story about some of those original VHS tapes? The day before my wedding, the guys, Avery included, were helping me move into our soon-to-be new apartment. And afterwards, one of the guys brought a porn video. And I don't know, or a prawn video. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Prawn?
Yeah, that's it.
Prawn.
And and we were done moving. It was the guy, and literally it was my bachelor party was us moving into our apartment. And I put the video in, and we're all sitting there, and we're all like really, really uncomfortable, and as guys would be.
Yeah.
So do you know what we put in and watched instead? The Disney movie Aladdin, because my mom bought it for me because she knew that exact movie. So my bachelor party my bachelor party included us sitting and watching Aladdin.
That's funny.
And it was on VHS because back in that day, that's all what are you? She's killing me here. She's killing me.
Attention hound. Even though she's a cat.
She is. All right, I'm going to look through the comments.
I was going to push you along there.
I appreciate it. Spencer was here. Spencer says
Spencer.
Roger.
He's from Kentucky.
Oh, okay, excellent.
You know, KY like the jelly.
Excuse me a quick second. I'm kicking her
This
out.
cat won't leave him alone.
Come here, big girl.
There she is. Looks just like DK.
Yeah, she's a pain in the ass.
Peter.
All right, stranger. I'm kicking you out. I'll be right back. Hold on just a second.
Cat's taking center stage.
It's just cat butt video right now.
I thought we'd switch channels to CBS, like I said. I was looking for those. Wow.
All right. I'm back.
All right.
Get out, but...
Okay, hold on a second. Let's see. There was a message from Brian. Brian says, guys, keep up the good work. I'm an amateur scam baiter, and yes, weekends are slow for the scam bags. Kind of pisses me off. Well, I don't get calls on Sunday. Every now and then I will get the random call, but usually Sunday is quiet and it's my day of rest, even though I'm working. But Saturday, I usually get a couple of calls while I'm at the store. But Monday morning at 9 o'clock, I have to be awake. I have to be ready because either the house phone's going to ring or the cell phones are going to ring. And starting at 9 o'clock every day. And they're very true to their word in the fact that they don't stop calling. They will continue to call, and it's a wonderful thing. There have been times, Roger, I don't know if you've had this experience or not, where you'll go for a long time without getting a single call, and you start to worry, maybe they caught on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they know not to call my number anymore, and then all of a sudden you'll start getting calls again. Oh, okay, never mind.
Never mind.
I think it's funny because I've been told that call centers will sell their lists of numbers that they know people will pick up to other call centers. Other call centers will buy lists from scam call centers to make calls off of. And That's the only way I can explain why they keep calling me over and over and over again, is because they keep sharing my same number around.
Well,
because I answer the phone.
One of my characters is Yuri Mochenik. He's the Russian guy.
Okay.
Well, I gave him the name, and they looked that up on Google.
Okay.
And one of my videos were the top 4 hits. And so they go, oh, you're the famous guy on YouTube. We don't want to be. And they said Yuri is famous. I go, okay. So after the call, I go, let me look it up. I go, holy smokes, that's what they did.
That's hilarious.
On Google, on the Google.
The Google, yes. Yeah, Glenn was telling me one day, he says he's shocked and pleasantly surprised that he gets calls for people asking for Betty. I mean, I get calls for people asking for Herschel, for Carl, for Timothy, and I'm like, it brings a smile to my face.
And it's so easy to know what character you're going to do then. It's easy.
Well, I'm always surprised. He's always prepared to answer his phone with Betty.
Yeah.
Where me, I've got to stop and think about it. What the hell am I doing? You know? But he's on the ball. He's great. He's on the ball, and I love it. I appreciate him thoroughly.
Mrs. asks me, she goes, how do you know what character? I said, well, first if they ask, but if they don't, I just have to listen to their tone and see what they're going to sound like before I just really get into it. And if they like, I know what they're going to, for some reason, they really like sticking with the old country boy down there like Owen or GM. They like sticking on there because they could fool these here back country guys that don't know nothing.
Yep.
And so they think they could get in better.
So what would you say is the most common call you get nowadays?
It's between the final expense and I'm still getting, we're calling from the Medicare. We get extra benefits that you didn't get. And then, of course, really big now is the marketplace. And
I'm still getting all 3 of those.
Right. And I say, well, when will this marketplace insurance take effect? It's not going to be until March or April because it's January and I could sign up for it.
Yep.
And then I have to remember, what birthday am I going to give them? I have to remember if it's marketplace, I got to give them, I'm under 65. And if it's Medicare, I got to give them over 65. So I got my phony birthdays, the years that I got to remember. I
try to keep it simple. It's always March 1st.
Right.
And if it's Medicare, it's 55. If it's not Medicare, it's 65.
Right.
I'm either 69 or 59.
It's 68 or 58. And I use July 4th, 66 or July 4th, 56.
Yep.
So one or the other.
Good job. Good.
I started with, I was doing a few of this. I said, you know what? I tried February 29th.
Yep.
Because 56 is actually a leap year. And they go bonkers. There's no such thing. And then they just hang up, think I'm fooling with them. So it's all right. That doesn't work. So now it's those 2 dates and that's it. I'm sticking with it.
Well, you know, it's so funny. Glenn had to change part of the script that he was using or part of his speech that he was using because they would ask how old he was and he would say 80. And the final expense scammers would say, oh, sorry, can't help you and hang up because it's 40 to 80. So once you get to 80, they don't care anymore. So he now says 79 is how old he is. But if you tell them
you died last week, they stay on the phone. That's kind of weird.
They're not bright. And that's wonderful. That's the best part is they're dumb. It's, you know, it's like, what was it? There was an old like 800 number that you could call like a joke a day.
Yes.
That you'd call and you get they call me and do the jokes.
That's it.
They tell me great stories. Love it.
And I get a lot of comments from subscribers. Like, why are they so dumb? How do they not fall? How do they fall for this? I said, because these guys have fewer brain cells than an inchworm. And the more I listen to I go back and listen to the videos again. I go, yeah, this guy couldn't even figure out his way out of a wet paper sack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're not listening. They're just reading their script.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. You know, thank God they do that. So
and it's the one that because we own a timeshare, we get all the timeshare exit companies.
Yep.
And I think next to the timeshare companies that sold it to you, they're a scam. But I think that the timeshare exit companies are even a bigger scam. Yeah. And they're just ruthless. And they never take no for an answer. And I think I used your tactics on the one girl, and I think I put it up as a video too. Oh, do you like older men? What do you look like in short shorts, honey? And I went on with it, and she finally transferred her over some guy. And then I asked him the same thing. Do you like older men?
That's pretty
off
good.
the phone.
You got to have, you know what?
Yeah.
What's so funny is you got to have fun with it. And if you do something and it works, great. If you do something that doesn't work, you'll get another shot.
Yeah,
they'll give you another. They'll give you another opportunity to screw with them and perfect it. I've never had what I would consider the perfect call. I've never had a perfect call. I've always blundered things, but every single time I talk to a scammer, I learn. And I'm like AI. I'm constantly learning.
Exactly.
We need to develop an AI system that answers scam calls and screws with them. That would be wonderful. The U.S. needs to start working on that right away.
I think there is one.
Google needs to create an anti-scammer AI bot that just takes calls from scammers.
Yeah. One of the really top-notch scam baiters, he does it. And he does it with his Bitcoin, and he puts them in a loop, and they can't get out of this loop. The scammer's stuck in it, and they can't get out of it. It was really, really cool to see him do that.
That's funny. Oh, man, we just have too much fun. All right. Well, actually, guys, the time has been flying by. I know I didn't get an opportunity to read all the chats. I'm going to take some time a little later and go through and read them and make notes and follow up in another episode. But I appreciate everybody out there who came and joined this evening for this little round table of craziness. It's one of those things where I always, Roger, when I'm done with the streams, I go and I tell my wife how the stream went. And I'll tell her, I'll say, these are the things we talked about. And there was literally, and Avery will remember this, there was literally one of these live streams where I told her, I said, tonight's topics of conversation was the weather, how tall everybody is, and bears eating humans. And she went, what? And I said, it just came up in conversation and we went with it.
We just dropped a bait in the water and they grabbed onto it. That's all.
Right. That's right. And I hate to say it, we left the chat out this time. I am so sorry. We left the chat out. But what I will do is I will go through and read the comments, make notes on anything that we should talk about in the future, because Avery will also confirm what I'm about ready to say. I often will say, I have something I want to talk about, but we'll do it next episode. And then we never talk about it.
Well, we need to write notes, and we need to have the subscribers tell us some topics. Even would be really helpful.
That's right. That would be good.
Throw them out there.
It only took 133 episodes to ask that question. Guys, send in comments on what do you think we should talk about, because we can talk forever.
Andrew exists in his own little world.
Oh, I do. And you guys have seen shows where I've been here all by myself.
Yeah.
And just talk for an hour straight. And I always tell my wife, I got people that come in and they watch the stream and they comment and they watch me talk. And she goes, they sit there and watch you talk for an hour? I said, yeah, I know. They're crazy. I love them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's like, wait, I get to talk for an hour straight uninterrupted? Andrew loves it.
Yeah. Avery used to go on road trips with me. And as long as I was talking, I was awake to drive. And Avery would fall asleep and I'd still be just jabbering away talking. Yeah. We have several stories that were like that.
I'm out cold. Like, I'll fall asleep and I wake up and he's still talking. I'm like,
yeah, we left Jacksonville, and we were either going to Pennsylvania or to Atlanta or to New York. We were on a road trip, and I had come up with a story idea that revolved around the character Peter Pan. And I start telling him all the beats, and I literally talked for like 2 hours straight, and he fell asleep. And when we finally got to a stopping point, I turned to him and said, hey, do you remember that story I told you about the idea that I had about Peter Pan? And he said, yeah, some of it. I said, what do you remember? And he goes, it had Peter Pan in it.
Yeah, I remember Peter Pan. The rest of the time, I was out cold. But he still kept going.
Still kept going. And it didn't matter if he was awake or not. As long as I had somebody to talk to, I was wide awake for the drive. So
kind of like Del Griffith from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Just as long as I can stay awake, you know. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me this evening. I had fun. I hope you did too. And everybody out there in the chat, please have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe this week. If you are anywhere near the California fires, please be careful. Please stay safe. And thoughts to everybody that's out there. And please, if you know somebody out there, please keep them in your mind. Reach out to them when you can. And as always, if you get calls like the ones I get and Roger gets, either hang up on them or screw with them like we do. And if you do screw with them, remember the golden rule that Glenn lives by. Screw and share. I almost forgot what the damn that my catchphrase was. Screw and share. Share it. So
yes, and be good humans.
That's right. Be good. Be good. All right, everybody, take it easy. And who's playing next? Pittsburgh Steelers?
Right now, Pittsburgh and Ravens.
Go Steelers.
Yeah.